A young Doug French purchased 13 Richard Place in 1992, a place he'd call home for the next 7 years. In 1999, Mr. French purchased and moved to another home in Rye. The blossoming business executive from Thomson & Reuters would then decide to keep 13 Richard Place as an investment property, putting the house on the market for rent in the fall of that year. The single-family home, which was advertised as having 3 bedrooms on the second floor and a 4th bedroom in the finished attic, rented in just 29 days for $800 per month above the asking price. And beginning January 2000, at a rate of $4,500 per month, Mr. French's new business venture had begun to pay off. In the spring of 2002, 13 Richard Place hit the market again. This time, the impeccable 4-bedroom colonial found a tenant in just 25 days, generating over $160,000 in rental income in its first 3 years alone. It would be almost a decade before Doug French would introduce himself to the public and invite us all to have another look at 13 Richard Place.
Hi, I'm Doug French, and I want to be your next mayor. I'm a global vice president at Thomson Reuters. The qualifications that the city needs right now are tied to business management. I manage over $1 billion in information products and services to the financial sector. I look at Michael Bloomberg, and I compete with him every day in the private sector.
What I will do in the first 2 years is we will put a flood plan before the people to vote on.
I, Douglas French, do solemnly swear.
February 2011. Now Mayor French is serving his 14th month in office when he elects to put 13 Richard Place on the market one more time. Only this time the mayor would offer his 4-bedroom single-family home to the public for sale. A much different transaction than a rental. One that was sure to attract Rye's affluent home buyers and their real estate agents, but one that would also bring with it a level of scrutiny like the property had never seen before. Marketing materials and websites promoted the home's renovated condition and showcased its desirable floor plan. The mayor had installed a new eating kitchen, renovated the baths, upgraded the electrical service, replaced the heating system, and managed to somehow keep the taxes low while doing so. Still, transferring title to the single-family home was proving to be much more difficult than renting it, especially since the finished attic, which was rented for 12 years as the 4th bedroom, was now downgraded to only possibly being a 4th bedroom. After 60 days on market, the mayor reduced his asking price by $50,000. 2 months later, the mayor reduced the price by another $50,000. And the very next day, on July 1st, 2011, the property was reduced to receiving a violation from the City of Rye Building Department for building without a permit, possible finished attic. Mayor French withdrew the listing on August 16th, 2011. But when you're the mayor, you can't hide.
Thank you. Anyone else? Matters not on the agenda. Yes.
Good evening. My name is Jordan Glass. I represent Hill Harbor. Matters are to be discussed, not sidestepped. The council exists to serve the city of Rye and the people of Rye, nothing less. In that context, I bring you another of Rye's interesting violations. There's a house where work was performed without an electrical permit. This house also had demolition work performed without a permit. It was also in violation of the fire code. The house had 1 of 2 kitchens removed without a permit. It had gas and electrical lines handled in derogation of the safety and permit codes. It has been represented to the public to be one thing, when in fact it was by law another. It created a safety hazard for its occupants and the fire department because illegal gas and electrical work was performed. The house was purchased in the 1990s and there was ample time for correction. It has been represented to the public over and over to have had renovations of the type requiring permits. It has a bedroom completed and advertised on the 3rd floor attic, though there is no fire escape as required by local and state law. The City of Rye has been deprived of a house in compliance with its code, placing residents of Rye, presumably including children since it is advertised as a 4-bedroom house, in unnecessary and reckless peril. This 2-family house was illegally converted to a 1-family house with construction and permitting codes for fire, safety, electrical, gas, plumbing, and water, all violated, flouted, and ignored. The house finally received its first violation in July of 2011. This House raises the conflicts of interests issue as to permitting to a new level in other matters I have brought to you before. The house is at 13 Richard Place. It belongs to the mayor.
Thank you. Anyone else? Ensuing confrontations between perennial provocateur Ray Tartaglione and members of the city government have managed to create more confusion than clarity.
Violation? I'm not aware of a violation.
All complaints are logged in.
That's a complaint.
If you let me continue,
You're just
then
making
we'll
false
go-
statements. Oh, so it's not a violation.
No,
It's a complaint.
exactly.
It is zoned as a two-family. You're making claims that you can't back up.
We began our investigation at the City of Rye's assessor's office. We had the assessor pull all the property cards for 13 Richard Place from the present day to as far back as 1951. Every assessor's record, dating back over 6 decades, categorized the mayor's house at 13 Richard Place as a legal two-family home. Furthermore, according to the assessor, the mayor's property doesn't have 4 bedrooms. It has only 2 bedrooms. The house was legally constructed consisting of one one-bedroom apartment on the first floor, which included a kitchen, and one one-bedroom apartment on the second floor, which also had a kitchen. Lastly, the record showed the finished attic wasn't to be finished at all. We then pulled the 2011 City of Rye final assessment roll from the city's own website. There, we were able to verify that the mayor's property at 13 Richard Place is being assessed as a two-family home today. And the City of Rye's finance department confirmed that Mayor French has, in fact, been paying taxes on a two-family home at 13 Richard Place for every one of the 19 years that he's owned it.
But it was renovated to a single family when I bought the house.
Next, we visited the building department to get down to the nuts and bolts on 13 Richard Place. The department's official records there, once again, showed the mayor's house as being a legal two-family home. The record also revealed that the property had been issued 1 permit, 1 certificate of occupancy, or a CO, and 1 violation. We then filed a Freedom of Information law request with the City of Rye for the property at 13 Richard Place. 14 days later, the City of Rye produced 2 documents in response to our request. One was a blank fire underwriter certificate with no information whatsoever, and the other was the permit we were looking for, number 478. It showed that it was issued on May 20th, 1949, for the construction of a two-family home at 13 Richard Place. A copy of the CO was not included in the city's response, and no information was given regarding the violation that was issued either. Not having CO number 186 would make it impossible to know for sure if it corresponded with permit number 478. So we visited the building department again to make sure that the CO we did not receive truly did not exist. What we found was that CO number 186 did exist indeed, and that it was issued on September 8, 1949 in accordance with permit number 478 for the construction of a two-family home at 13 Richard Place. Even though every single City of Rye record we found showed the mayor's investment property to be a legal two-family residence, we hired Stewart Title Company, one of the nation's leading providers of title insurance to the real estate and mortgage industries, to perform an independent, third-party municipal record search for the property at 13 Richard Place. On October 26, 2011, Stewart Title Company was advised by the City of Rye that a search of building department records found certificate of occupancy number 186 was issued for 13 Richard Place in 1949 for the construction of a single-family home. This time, a copy of the CO was attached, but a copy of the corresponding permit was not. Within hours of Stewart Title confronting the City of Rye with a copy of permit number 478, which we gave them, Stewart Title was in possession of an amended report by the city, one that would have the City of Rye finally and correctly identify the mayor's house at 13 Richard Place as a legal two-family dwelling. City of Rye Code Section 6814 states in part that no change shall be made in the nature of the occupancy of an existing building unless a certificate of occupancy authorizing the change has been issued by the building inspector.
That is a phone call recording. Somebody made a complaint. Every accusation you're making is false.
Was building without a permit really just a harmless complaint, a phone call, as the city attorney, manager, and mayor have contended? We visited building departments in neighboring municipalities to see how they would handle a similar situation.
They changed it back to one.
Yeah.
They did it without a permit.
And finished the attic and stuff.
That's a violation if they finish the attic without a permit. Yeah, it is.
If you have a two-family and they took out the second kitchen without any kind of permits years ago, do they have to get permits for taking out that kitchen, even though it's already gone?
Well, the two-family and a
Because
one.
now they want a CO for a one-family,
Got to file a permit to rip it out.
even though it's already gone.
Yep.
It is currently a one family, but the record shows it is two.
Yeah, and no permits were ever taken out to remove the kitchen.
That's an issue. If that stuff was removed without permits, yes, it's illegal.
And then the attic and the fourth bedroom separate illegal.
If they were done without permits, it's illegal.
If you have a violation listed on a property, the title company's going to find that.
Well, the title company would, yeah.
And there we had it. Stewart Title Company was advised by the City of Rye that a search of building department records showed that 13 Richard Place had been issued a violation on July 1st, 2011 for building without a permit.
It's not a violation.
Yeah, what's recorded is someone called in and made a complaint.
Somebody called in and made a complaint.
This is an actual notice of violation that was issued for building without a permit to a Rye resident who didn't happen to be the mayor. This violation, issued in 2010, appears in the official building department record, same as the mayor's, and has a corresponding sequential violation number just like the mayor's. As per standard building department procedure, this homeowner was charged and paid a $1,000 fine for building without a permit. Ironically, that's a $1,000 fine that Mayor French voted for and approved of himself as part of the city's 2011 annual budget.
Councilman Sack.
Yes.
Mayor French.
Yes.
It's adopted unanimously.
Yet the mayor has not been subjected to paying said fine, even 5 months after receiving his violation.
Doug French brings a business sensibility to this job that does not exist right now.
Mortgage recordings at the Westchester County Courthouse, Division of Land Records, show that Mayor French, on 3 separate occasions, borrowed a total of over $215,000 in cash against the equity he'd built in his single-family house at 13 Richard Place. We also know that Mayor French had been charging his tenants a prime $4,500 per month for the privilege of occupying his illegal 4-bedroom home. Times that by 12 years, and you'll find that the mayor's little cash cow has generated well over $600,000 in personal income for his honor. Combine that with the mayor's home equity loans, and that represents more than $800,000 in cash on hand generated by the mayor's investment property. Every single penny of which was gained compliments of the home's illegal construction and occupancy.
Your property taxes grew 8% in the entire decade of the 1990s. Your city property taxes have grown 10 times that, or 80% this decade.
The average sales price for a single-family home in Rye, comparable to 13 Richard Place, over the past 2 years is approximately $750,000. That was the mayor's asking price. Yet the City of Rye's assessor's office calculates the full market value of the mayor's property to be only $541,000. Based on that assessment, Mayor French, who came into office as a tax reformer, has been paying less in property taxes for the last 19 years than those Rye residents who own a legal, single-family home similar to his.
What do you tell the children? That you're supposed to lead by example?
I do lead by example.
According to the New York State Department of Taxation and Finance, the School Tax Relief Program, or STAR, provides homeowners with a partial exemption from school property taxes. Only homeowners who are currently occupying their homes as their primary residence are eligible for the savings. Mayor French has applied for and has been receiving a star exemption for his primary residence at 46 Meadow Place since 2001. However, Mayor French had also been receiving a star reduction on his investment property at 13 Richard Place from 2001 to 2010 as well, saving himself more than $10,000 in taxes during that 10-year period.
I just wanted to confirm that he was going to repay the money.
If I got an exemption that I wasn't entitled to, absolutely.
Star exemptions don't just fall from the sky. The homeowner must go into their local assessor's office and apply for the savings themselves. New York state law mandates that your school property tax bill must clearly state if you're receiving a star exemption and the amount of that savings. Both of Mayor French's tax bills clearly demonstrated that he was receiving, for 10 years straight, a star exemption on each of his 2 properties.
Do you know if you got that exemption, sir?
I'm going to find out. We are a city manager form of government with a weak mayor. I run the legislature, he runs the enforcement and administration.
The city manager is also the records access officer, responsible for assuring compliance with FOIL regulations. But it seems that the City of Rye has a growing knack for not being forthcoming with information the public is entitled to.
I don't appreciate being called disingenuous, and the city manager, who's sitting right here, can attest to the fact that I've been requesting the bills and I haven't received them. I had been asking for the bills for a long time, and even at that meeting, I renewed my request for the bills, and I still didn't get them. So, if I have to submit a FOIL request for the bills, maybe I'll do that too.
Remember our FOIL request? It came back pitifully lacking. And Stewart Title, an independent private company, was flat out misled by the City of Rye.
The enforcement is all through the city manager.
At that time, the chief executive officer had not yet hired a new building inspector. So who exactly was responsible for the release of the erroneous information that came from the building department regarding the legal status of the mayor's home? We doubt it was a member of the building department staff. They do their job well, the way Mr. Tamburo taught them. We invited Mayor French to sit down with us for an interview regarding his investment property. We asked the mayor if he could please provide us with a valid CO for a single-family home at 13 Richard Place. If so, we promised the mayor that we'd publish it for all of Rye's residents to see. Mayor French never responded to our request.